Hi guys, it's Veronica. So, I am getting ready to do Stephen Bright's 22 faves. And I don't think I'll be able to do the 16 faves tonight, but since I have out all these decks, I'm definitely going to do that tomorrow. I have these few videos that I want to make the next tonight and tomorrow while I have the chance because things have been really busy. I've missed you guys. So I really have. I love the interaction. I do. And there's people that I know are watching that I just want you to know that I've been watching videos all the time. And I keep trying to make a mental note. Go back and comment when you can. And there's so many I haven't commented on, but there's such good videos out there right now. I love this. So I'm looking forward to making the 22 faves. I had to stop putting decks on the bed. And there's only 22 and I don't want to cheat. And it's going to be hard not to cheat though. But I'm going to do it. But before I do that, I want to do like a little catch up and just a little ramble maybe. Show a couple decks that I like. But what's been on my mind is I'm really doing well. I'm doing well. I'm in a good spot. And I'm looking into some things. Before I moved to Orlando, I was a rape crisis counselor on a volunteer basis, but I was at a good facility. I took all the training that they had, and I worked the crisis line. I'd be a hospital contact at night because I had insomnia anyway, why not? And I've really missed that. And I have found a place in Orlando that sounds pretty cool that I'm looking into. And I'm also, it's time to get real proactive about building my tarot business. I have the time, I have the means, and this is the time to do it. And there's a part of me that's been, I need to get my shit straight and I need to do this and this before I move forward on this. And now I'm at the point where I realize, well, no, you kind of need that to move forward. You need to, working through depression and still kind of dealing with it, but realizing how it just shut me down for so long, but I did the best I could do at the time. But now that I'm feeling like me again, it's time. It's time to go back in there. And so I'm excited about that. And one of the things I'm going to do, I think, is look into reading at some of the places that are around where I live. There's like really cool wine bars and different pubs. And if any of you have done that, if you could give me like any suggestions, because next week I want to go out and start talking to people and seeing about it. Make sure I have enough business cards made up and all that. But I'm not even sure about the pricing. I mean, I love reading in bars. I'm not talking about nightclubs or getting smashed and everyone's dancing. I'm talking about where you're just like hanging out. Last night I did it with my husband's work thing. I ended up reading cards for people, and I'm really used to doing that, but not as a paid thing. And I'm a little familiar with it with the party situation. When I host a party, that's different than a one-on-one consultation. I love those, but it's two completely different things. So, but the sand timer I use for that is really large, and it's a half an hour, and I'm gonna look for one on Amazon that's smaller. But how do you do it? Is it $20 a pop or by card? $5 for a card, because I basically think that's about how much time you spend, about 5 minutes talking on each card. So a 2-card spread would be a little bit longer. Just your thoughts on that and how it's worked for you and all of that, because I want to get that down before I walk into a place and offer to do that, because nobody's doing that around here. There is a place downtown, and I'm gonna email the chick, but it's like a very touristy restaurant on I Drive, and I don't even know if that's what I'm looking for. So there's a couple cool metaphysical shops around here, but I really think like my vibe and my people are gonna be like where I've been doing impromptu readings for a few years now. So I'm excited about that. The deck is going. I am so glad to be getting that going. And I love the feedback that I've gotten, and I'm really excited about this. One of the things I'm excited about is we touched on it in the live chat with Kelly. She said she wants to do this with her deck. Her and Patrick were talking about it But I really believe after this deck, there's more cards to be made. And I don't know whether it'll be themes. The one that I feel particularly drawn to is depression and mental illness and chemical imbalances and journeys through that, and the cards that help you through that. So making various whatever cards pertain to that subject. And what I hope will become a trend with decks is, instead of changing a few cards and selling another edition of the deck, I don't want to do that. My goal is the the initial deck will be, that's the deck, but then additional cards and books that come along with it as expansions. And I really wish that would become a thing. How many decks can you buy? Even if you love a deck, it's like, ugh, they changed 5 cards and those cards look great. And not only do that, but then sometimes they change the back, so you can't even put together the ones you want. Now, I took my first and second edition Star Child and made them exactly half and half. So that worked for me, and that's great, but you can't do that sometimes. So and I want this for myself too, as these cards are added, you can put the ones together as an oracle if you like, or change out the devil card or this, depending on the client you're going to be seeing, the event you're doing, or just what you're going through. Right now, I really connected this devil card more than that one. So I like the idea of that. I love the idea of that. So that's pretty cool. And I just love working with K. Chris because she's amazing. I know what I want you to see, but she will be able to present what it means, and just, she's so gifted with that and so knowledgeable and so experienced herself that I love what we do together. So I'm excited about that. So on a more personal note, something that's been on my heart lately, as good as things are with me right now, I found out that a dear family member, my uncle, is seriously ill. I mean, serious medical problems. And I had known, but I didn't realize how serious it was. And it's heartbreaking. And as you know, my heart has been heavy thinking about him and how much I love him and his family, but also my aunt. I cannot even imagine. I can't even go there to what she's going through now and what lies ahead, because options are very limited, and it sucks. It just sucks. And it was when I spent the day with Mom. We spent a really nice day at Epcot, but after I took her home, on the whole way home, I was thinking about it. And basically, this is what I was thinking about, and it is the ATIS Swords. These 8 of Swords moments in our life. Now, there's a reason why I did the swords first. One, I feel like I've really connected with the swords the past few years. And some people see the swords as conflict. But, man, there's conflict in them, but I don't see them as such. I mean, it's also strategies and beliefs. It's a way to also broaden and break free, not just constrict or, conflict. But the one card that I've always, whenever I've seen it, either when I'm getting a reading, doing a reading myself, or when I see it giving a reading, is that stinking 8 of Swords. And that's because I know a lot of people can see the brighter side of it as, you're bound, but you're not as bound as you think, and finding a way out and all that. That's never been the 8 of Swords for me. That could be a combination of the 7 of Swords or the 9 of Swords, depending on the context and the cards around it. But the 8 of Swords has always been, even at the beginning, a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. And then it kind of evolved, but not much better. When that card when I get that card to read or be read, the thing that sucks about that is you don't have the options you want. What you want, the ideal, is not even an option. And that's in the best of circumstances with something that isn't like really heavy, but just something that you have to face. It's not going to be. But a lot of times it has to deal with like really deeper issues than that. And in my original deck, and I'm trying to stay as close to either image or the words, but whichever works. But in the original, that was mine. Because I'm not going to use like traditional imagery, but I love the way that looked. And it was, the quote is, "What's coming will come, and we'll meet it when it does." And that's a quote from Hagrid in one of the Harry Potter movies. And this is one of my favorite ATIS Swords because it breaks my heart. That's from the Nicoletta. That's Lucy. And when I was looking, it's actually kind of harder sometimes when I'm dealing with images that weren't made for me, when I'm having to find them, to find high-res ones that I can tweak and do what I want with. It's great. There's a lot of them out there, but the thing is, sometimes I think it'd almost be easier to have an illustrator and go, I want you to do this. But to have that image in my head, I know what words I want to put with it, and it has to look like this. So it has to be something that grabs me, that, okay, I can tweak it or I can make that look. So the ATIS Swords, I knew I needed a confinement of some way. And I like what I found because I love the water. I love the feel of being in the water. But I'm highly claustrophobic. And the thought of being trapped underwater is like the worst, you know? Terrible. I'll get like a little, if I get a ring stuck on my finger. But I'm very claustrophobic. And I think about scuba divers and how they go way down deep. And sometimes they'll be in the caves and all that, which I will never, ever, ever do. But the thought of being down there and not even knowing which way is up. So when I found this, I'm like, that's my ATIS Swords. Not only is she in the water and she's constricted, it's disorienting. And it says, now is the time to do that thing you cannot do. That is the ATIS Swords to me. Because it's, your options are very, very limited. And you have to get through it the best way you can. And the thing is about when you're getting a reading or when you're giving one, it's not all the time, but every once in a while there is a situation that if they feel like actually dealing with it, you know, it'll be as deep and as honest as they want to go. I don't think you can force something on them. Hopefully, when the time comes, they'll remember what you said. But I think to force something that looks so obvious to you on someone who's not ready could actually have an adverse effect. And this card is a good case in point. I think sometimes not saying the wrong thing is just as important. Not saying something can be just as important as saying the right thing. And with this, I mean, there are going to be issues in your life and coming up in readings and stuff that you can't sugarcoat it. There is no sugarcoating it. There really is no silver lining. I compare it to, and this is what I was thinking on that drive home. It made me think of other cards that we are like, when we see them. Like the Three of Swords or the Tower, for instance. But here's the thing about both the Tower and the Three of Swords. Those moments, those Tower and Three of Swords moments, suck. They suck. But the thing about both of those is that structure in the Tower was faulty and it had to come down before the better one could be built. The knowledge and the pain of the Three of Swords, as much as it sucked, it was something that you had to deal with before you could truly move on. And whether it's rebuilding trust or truly moving on, it couldn't be done without facing that knowledge. But for me, in those few true Tower and Three of Swords moments, by the time the actual moment comes, I'm like, bring it. Because by that time, I've started to realize that putting it off does me no good. It's it does me no good. It's only making things worse. And my mind is already going toward rebuilding that structure and what it's going to look like, or moving on from that pain and what that's going to look like. That's the difference between the way I see the ATIS Swords, because there is no cathartic thing. There is no silver lining there. These Eight of Swords moments, which the older you get, you realize this is life and you have to go through this. And this one is, yeah, the best thing you can say is that, the best thing you can know is that time does heal. But a wound like this, time will heal it, but it's gonna leave a nasty scar that's always with you. That's a part of you. That will always be a part of you. And you can't put a good spin, and this doesn't happen very often, actually. I'm talking about those situations where the best thing you can do is just acknowledge it and sit with the person and know that I'm here with you. I'm here for you. Sorry. They suck. But at the same time, that as dark as, to me, these are like the dark nights of the soul moments, you know? And I'm not one to, in those dark moments, rail against God. Because, and maybe this comes from me having to deal with chemical ups and downs my whole life. There would be down times, which the chemical part of it, I've actually pretty much got a handle on. Once I decided to deal with that. But as bad as it would get, I always knew that it's gonna get better, and that this is, most of the time, this isn't even the truth. It's not as bad as it feels real, which makes it real, which is real, but it never stays like this. It will get better. And those times that it is good, I don't take those moments for granted, maybe because I'm very acquainted with those long dark nights, that when things are great, that's when I would advise, is when I do, or when someone, even in a reading, it's like, this is the moment to take a breath and breathe it in and soak it in and really, really feel it and keep it with you. Because those are the times that'll help you get through when the night is dark. Knowing that the sun will come up again, if you're lucky enough to live enough days, the sun will come up again. I think of it as, a couple of days ago I had a migraine, and I rarely get migraines, but I mean the kind where you're nauseous. If you move, you feel like you're just gonna throw up. It was so awful. But then when it was gone, the absence of pain felt so damn good. Where the day before, if I hadn't had the headache, feeling that way would have just felt normal. And that's the thing, is I think because we live on autopilot and we take so much for granted, and when we go through these dark nights, they hit us hard. But I think sometimes we don't have the strength because we don't appreciate the good times as well. I mean, if you're having a day and there's no major drama going on and there's no major pain, yay! I mean, that's a good fucking day. You know, the opposite of that, you can't really appreciate the light without the dark. I know, I get it. And that's why I think a frustrating card for me is the Four of Cups, that ennui. And usually it's a feeling that it shouldn't be there, you know, and you're probably, because you feel like something's lacking, instead of really seeing what you have and appreciating it, you're probably going to do something stupid that'll lead you to the Five of Cups, you know. But I think of the Four of Cups, there's a quote by Louis C.K. "I'm bored is a useless thing to say. I mean, you live in a great, vast world that you've seen none percent of. Even the inside of your own mind is endless. It goes on forever, inwardly. Do you understand? The fact that you're alive is amazing, so you don't get to say, I'm bored." That is so true. And So I've been sitting with both of those those extremes, and just appreciating where I am right now and progress I've made and things that are ahead, but it's still kind of been tempered with, sadness and having to deal with things that I can't control, as much as frustrating as it can be to be in that situation where you can't really make it better. The only way to make it better is to show your love and support and be there for them. That's all you can do. That Four of Swords, it's funny because nobody here, Annika, got me on a kick with these cards that I found. I'd never heard of them. Went down the real rabbit hole with that. These Dixit cards. So I got a bunch of the packs. I love it. They remind me of the art cards that I would show in a previous video. Just prints and all that I liked. And I just made. So I went through a bunch of them and kind of like at that moment how I felt. Like, what do I think of as the Fool? Look at what I picked for the Fool. Like, that makes any damn sense. But that was at the moment. And that's why I just wanted to go with gut. Like, don't try to match it up to anything. Just whatever it is. So some of them were obvious and others I'm like, what the hell? Like, for the Chariot, I love this one. It reminded me of Rocky Horror, where, the mansion takes off. Love that. But, I thought that one was great for the Wheel of Fortune. But I'm talking about the Four of Cups here. So let me go okay, so here's what I thought of as the Four of Cups. I'm looking at the sun. He's like, what the hell, guys? I'm right here. It's right here. Just put the umbrellas down. So, yeah. These cards are so much fun. Don't know how to play the game, but I'm like addicted to these cards. And it's not a true tarot deck, so I can't make it my devil. But I tell you what, I've really been having fun with the devil card lately. And this girl is my devil. Isn't that awesome? She's awesome. So other than these Dixit cards I've been playing around with, before I do that tag, I've got to say I've been surprised by the Fairy Enchantment Oracle. I'd watched some videos. By the time it was coming in, I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm going to like this. First, I love these kind of boxes. Can I say that they're so easy to store, and when you put the little thing there so you can lift the box up. I don't know how many times I have to go trying to get the bottom of the box out. But these cards, where I don't use the inside of the box. It's like stellar. Where I don't use the vampire tarot very often. I could see probably if I keep using this deck, using it in conjunction, even though it's not the kind of artwork that I go towards as my go-to kind of thing. I'm digging this. And you know what, one thing I love? Look at that rose gold gilding on a dark deck. That's sexy. That is sexy. And all this information on the back of each card. Now, I'm going through the guidebook, and it's kind of all over the place. I'm not sure, but this deck is surprising me. It's like the deck that I need right now. It is. It's what I've been needing right now, and it's really, really surprised me that I'm digging it, and it's actually working for me. So, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to have that, and I'm wondering how it's gonna progress. Another interesting one that I got was, I don't know if you like Dominic Murphy. I get his stuff on eBay. He'll put the Lost Tarot or the Secret Tarot. He puts it in these interesting boxes with a cloth. So this, I'm not even going to try to say. It's 2 sets of majors, right? Here's the backs to one. And those cards, like, his work is just stunning and freaky, but damn. And then here's the back to the other. Kind of abruptly cropped at the bottom, but I'm not going to hate on it because of that. Just because, yeah. it is what it is. But I freaking, look at that. I love that. It's going to be hard to pick only 22 and the majors at this next tag. I'm going to try not to cheat. And then last but not least, what I'm so happy to have. I've been watching videos on them, on this deck. Sassarabito. I know I'm saying that wrong. In the live chat, we were calling it the Sassy Burrito. I like that. So here it is. I'm watching these videos on the Sassy Burrito deck. Again, great box. Hinged. I couldn't find mine. I knew I had ordered it. I even looked on my Etsy thing. Yes, it was delivered. Cool when they do that. And I'm watching these people flip through the deck. I love everything about this deck. I do. I think, look at that moon. I like the stylized of it. It's kind of anime. There's a softness, but it's very strong. It's varied. It's beautiful. I love everything about it. Like that devil card. He's cool. I don't know what it is with me and the devil lately. Seriously. But as I'm watching these videos, I'm all excited. I couldn't find my stinking deck. I couldn't find it anywhere. And it was so frustrating. How bad is it when you can't find a deck that you know is in a room? Tearing up things. To the point where I was very tempted to order another one just so I knew when it would come in, because I'm watching these videos. I'm like, but I want to hold the cards. I want to play with it. I like it. And I haven't even had a chance to look at it. I set it somewhere when it came in and rushed off, and now I can't find it. So I did find it, and I did not order a second one. And when I compared myself, when I said I was the epitome of restraint, yeah, I got laughed at today. Can't find my Emperor card, and I dig him. He's in a suit, and it's just like, yeah, that's the Emperor. I'll find him and use him in the tag that I'm going to be doing. But I was happy to find it. And I'll find my Emperor card. He'll be the Emperor in that. So I don't have a second one because I found my deck. But I did somehow end up with 2 Dark Goddess Tarots. So what I'm going to do is, I'm over 700 subscribers or something. I don't pay attention to that much. I don't promote it, do hashtags, anything like that. But 7 is my mom's favorite. 7 and 3 are my mom's favorite number. So when I get to 777 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway on the Dark Goddess Tarot. Yay! So I'll do a video and let you know that, okay, we've hit it. So this is it. And since I got 2, for some reason, I got 2 of them in. And, oh, there's the Emperor. Look at him. And I like the black border on this. I'm going to be doing the tag about deck modifications, and I'll link her when I do it. I loved her video. But one of the questions was, is there a deck you wish you hadn't modded? And the Chemonix Tarot with that light black border, as soon as I did it, I'm like, it looked better with the black border. I got another one. I think my thing about white borders is, well, one, I like my cards to touch each other. Certain ways I throw down the cards and read. I like it when they can touch each other. Those little square cards, throwing them down, they interconnect in so many ways. But with a big white border, you know, it always looks like a Polaroid to me. Like, I grew up with Polaroids, so I feel like I'm holding a picture of the image instead of the actual image itself. And it just frees it to take that white border off. And I'm a big one for, it just gets me in this frame of mind. You'll be somewhere beautiful and everyone's got their phone up. And I'm the kind of person, I'm like, put down your phone and look at what's happening. You don't have to have the phone between you and what's happening. Experience it. Like all these pictures and videos you take. How many times do you really go back and watch it? Yeah, take a couple, but I think people are living behind their phone too much. And that bugs me. It really does. And something about white borders on cards reminds me of that. So that was a little mini rant there, but it's the truth. So I think I've touched on all the stuff that I wanted to for my little catch up, and I hope everyone is doing well. I'm gonna work on my 22 faves right now and upload that as soon as I can. So take care, y'all. Comment, I'll comment back, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.